Welcome to Sister Sessions, a podcast where two sisters on very different journeys explore what it means to live spiritually in today's world. My sister, Jenny Fairbank, is the co-founder and spiritual director of Wisdom Pathways, a yoga and meditation teacher, and a somatic healer devoted to guiding others toward inner peace. And I'm Susie Gustin, a mom of three, producer and owner of Red City Live Entertainment, embracing life's joys while searching for deeper meaning. Together, we have honest, relatable conversations about finding balance, purpose, and connection in everyday life. So, settle in. You are exactly where you need to be. Welcome to Sister Sessions.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sister Sessions podcast. We're so excited to have you here. I'm Susie Gustin, your co-host with my sister, Jenny Fairbank.
Hello, sister.
How's it going?
It's great, flowing with life. Even when obstacles get in your way, you just deal with it.
That's right. Jenny's having a little phone issue today, and look, she's still happy.
Yes, absolutely. Whatever it is.
The phone is her work, so that's a tough one.
Yeah. It's interesting whenever something comes in your way like that, right? I mean, it was fine last night, and then this morning I couldn't receive calls or give calls or send calls or call anybody, and I still can't. And okay, what are you going to do?
Yeah,
I'll figure it out.
Right. Well, I think I'm excited about today's session. We're going to talk about main character energy. And I really want this episode to be kind of like a hype session. This is actually, if for anyone that's listening maybe for the first time, welcome. This is going to be a good one to start with. And I want to talk about a spiritual shift from background player to conscious creator and really stepping into the lead role in life and not just being an extra and watching everything happen, right? As kind of like could be, I don't know, victim mode. But I really want to start with your thoughts on how do you help your clients flip the script when they have been stuck in survival mode for years.
Wow, let's start with a bang, huh?
Let's start with a bang. I feel like we have been talking for so many months now and, to people that have been following us. And there's been so many good lessons that you have shared and so many practices and tools that I think it's time we celebrate them and we put them into action. And I'm talking about me too here. So flipping the script. What do we do to flip the script?
Well, I mean, I wish it was as easy as it's like turning on a light switch. And to some degree, it can be, depending on where you are on your journey. But it often takes a lot of hard dedication practice of being really present here in the now. The presence of now, I think, is vital to that, right? Because you take control then of your energy, you have control of your energy, and you can say, yep, no, I'm pivoting. And I think this example for me this morning is so pivotal or appropriate for now, because, as soon as I realized that my phone wasn't working in that way, because of the practices, right? Because I've implemented all this stuff over decades now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's zero reaction. There's no reaction. I don't get upset. I don't get frantic like I would have done 20 years ago. I just okay, this isn't working. Well, let me see. Go right into solution mode. And I texted you and I said, because I tried to call, I found out because I tried to call you. You were the first person I tried to call today because I had Zoom sessions. So I didn't need my phone. And it didn't go. It wouldn't connect at all. So Anyway, you stay grounded and on a daily basis. I always say you practice when it's easy so that when something comes in your way, an obstacle approaches you and gives you an opportunity to show your work.
Yeah.
It's like when we get tested at school, right? When we get a test, it's an opportunity to see, okay, I did learn. I do know what I'm talking about, right? And that's the same thing here. When something arrives to us that seems like an obstacle, that seems like a problem, we look at it more like, oh, okay, this is an opportunity. It's a wholly different way to experience life. Oh, I get an opportunity to see if I am doing good, if I'm doing well, if my work is paying off, right? There's no reaction. It's a calm acceptance of what is and focus on the solution, because then you're in your higher self. So flipping the script is getting out of the ego and going into your highest self and saying, okay, what's the solution? What do I need to do to work this out?
Yeah.
That's what it is. But it's not that easy to flip from ego to higher self without practice.
Right. So here's a question. If you're in the process of conscious growth, which I want to say that I feel like I am, like I'm consciously trying to grow and in every way, right? And you're approached by someone that maybe is very used to the old you, your old ways, and you get the comments, well, I didn't think that you, oh, well, look at you, like things like that. How do you stay centered around those comments about sticking to your old self and not growing?
I think it's vital to drop the scripts that others gave you that said, this is who you are. This is what I know about you. This is, how I see you. And you're always going to be that way. Man, I hope not, right? And we're always evolving, and hopefully we're consciously evolving into our highest light, our highest truth, which is our divinity, right? We are divine beings. We are not, we're just playing this human role, but we're not human by nature. It's a costume we don for a time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's definitely an irritating thing that comes in and out of your life when you're trying new things and you're, stepping outside of the box that you have been put in by others or allowed yourself to stay in one or the other. Go ahead.
Yeah.
You want to say something?
I have some, yes. So even thinking about it being irritating, right? Suze, is your opportunity to work with that, right? It's just because that's all they know, right? Family expectations, cultural norms that are out there, right? The societal norms, the fear-based patterns that are all around us, right? And it's when we become more mature, spiritually speaking, then we're constantly rewriting our story. Based on what you're evolving into, what your soul's truth is awakening within you. And so that external programming falls away because you are completely changing the blueprint of your consciousness. So others who are on this conscious journey, when you look back a decade ago, oh my gosh, I don't even know who I was back then. Or I've even thought of just the other day, I was thinking about when I was much, much younger, like even a kid. I can imagine how I was in high school, how different. Oh my goodness. I probably wouldn't like myself now if I saw myself, like just so different. And it's not good or bad. It's just different. And so you really want to keep releasing and opening. And I think when other people just want to keep you in that box, they can let them. It goes back to like Mel Robinson's, let them, right? I think that's great. Yes, let them. But then it's not only let them, but let yourself be who you are. And don't even think about how others perceive you or don't perceive you, because it's irrelevant.
Yes.
Truly irrelevant.
Amen.
To the big thing.
Yes. So for someone listening who's like, well, that's too much for me. Like, what do they mean by main character energy? Like, what type of block or wound does someone have who is afraid to take center stage? Or how can they self-identify right now and say, oh, wait, that's me. I don't have to be this way.
That's a difficult, there's so many different things. As many cells in the universe, there are as many different experiences, right? And different blocks that we may have. There's difficult to pinpoint any specific block that it could, I mean, there could be a million different kinds. So it's really about knowing yourself, getting to know yourself on the deepest level. And when we're completely externally focused, we cannot get to know ourselves, and we just take on what everybody else is doing and being around us by default. And we just get programmed in the patterns in the subconscious. But when you actually take center stage, you're taking back your power, and you're realizing that you have complete control. And when you take complete control of your energy, then you have you're living in present moment, and you are consciously choosing words, thoughts, emotions, energy, action, right? You're consciously saying, okay, I'm choosing to think positively, and I'm choosing to focus on the solution here. I'm staying calm in my center. Even though I want to freak out, I'm not going to. I'm not going to let my ego take a fit, because how is that going to help?
Yeah.
It's going to take up a lot of energy, and then you're going to come right back to where you started. You're not going to get any further, and you're going to still have to deal with the issue in front of you.
Yeah, I'm really putting you on the spot with some of these questions, but I'm going to go for it anyway. So, can you think of an example, like a fake life example, where you are using main character energy, where you have an opportunity to step into the lead role? Like what would be an example of that? Like a made up example.
Stepping into the lead role?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, hopefully we're always in the lead role. I mean, the thing is, stepping into your lead role means you are living in your highest light, which means when you're living in your highest light and your higher self, that means that you are centered within, and you're feeling calm or joy or love or peace, right? Those 4 pillars are part of your highest self, your true divinity, right? So if you're feeling joyful, then you're in center stage, right? We are co-creators of this energy here all around us, right? And so we want to take control of that and say, yeah, I don't like the way my life is right now. I don't like my job, or I don't like my partner, or I don't like where I live, or I don't like how I behave sometimes. I don't like this habit I have.
There come the examples. They're flooding in. Go ahead. You're giving all the examples.
So, right. So I don't like this stuff. What do I do about it? You have to take effort. You have to put in effort and energy and say, I'm going to take charge, and I'm going to say, no, I'm not going to continue with this job. I'm going to look for another one. Even though I really don't want to look for another one, and I don't want to go on the internet, I don't want to do all these things. If I want to find joy in my work, I need to do something about it. And if I can't change my job, say that you feel like you can't leave your job for whatever reason, find the joy in it every moment, because it doesn't really matter what you do. It matters how you do it. Doesn't matter if you're sweeping floors or working on a machine or you're running a bank. It's how you do it and what energy you're putting into it. So stop thinking about the external as much as the internal. Focus on the internal, and you will be able to live in joy no matter what you're doing, no matter what's happening. And this is very difficult, and we can't deny that there's a lot going on in this world, and it's so easy to be in fear and worry and scarcity and all the things that are heavy energetically, heavy. We don't have to be there.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have to. We can choose. And I think the greatest example is all that's happening now in this world. And let's talk about this country, because we're here in this United States of America, and probably most of our listeners, all of our listeners are in this country. Take a breath, take a breath, because there is nothing that happens outside of the will of the divine spirit. Nothing. And that can be very difficult for us, because our egos are like, well, what does that mean? God is that. What is that? What? You're thinking too small. Think bigger. We are main characters We are the main characters on this planet, and we are co-creators. And so if you live in a higher light, if you live in peace or joy or calm or love, you are feeling, and I say this, I feel like I'm a broken record in this, but it's so vital, right? If you stay
Yeah.
in one of those high frequencies, you are then what? Expressing it, right? You are moving through, you're filling up the energy field with love, light, peace, joy, whatever it is, right? All the high frequencies. You are doing the best thing you can do by that. When you stay in fear, you're feeding that energy and filtering that up. We don't want to be in that, right? Who wants to be? Nobody wants to be there. They just don't know how to get out of it. But there
Yeah.
is a way out. There's an absolute clear way out. And that's not hard. It's not hard unless if, the ego keeps fighting and saying, oh, no, 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 no. I need to worry. I need to be prepared. Because what you're doing, your ego's trying to protect itself and say, okay, I need to prepare for the worst so that I'm ready. Let me tell you, we're not going to be ready. You're not going to be ready. You're never going to know when the tiger's coming, if it's going to come.
Yes.
Yeah.
Stop waiting for your perfect scene to begin. And I think that is something that I want to note to the listeners that you were saying about main character energy and taking the lead. It doesn't mean that you have to quit your job and go to, sure, if that's going to make you happy and you're like, oh, now I know that I'm going to take the leap and switch my job, great. But that is not what it means fully. It means inside. So if you're in that job that you're 2 years away from retirement and it's a sweet ride after that, finish it out as a sweet ride within, because if you have no choice and you're going to take those next 2 years and stick with it, so you have the light on the other side, change the script right now and make those 2 years awesome. Best 2 years of the whole career you've had there, right? Flip the script.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And don't wait for
And
the
it's
perfect
already
sleep, which would be the retirement on the other end.
Right.
Because if you're not happy
that's
now,
a
good luck.
false identity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do the work now so your retirement's even
Now.
sweeter. Yeah.
But now is the only time, Suze, right? Because now is the only thing that exists. Right now, in the very moment. When we get out of the future or the past, it changes everything. Because there's no such thing as that. That's just your mental construct playing games with you. Here and now is it. And so right now, choose joy. Right now, choose peace. Right now, what do you want to choose? And I know that might not be easy, because if you are feeling a lot of the heavy energy, you have to remove that out to then bring in the feel, to open up to joy and peace, right? And we've talked about this a lot, right? How to move that energy out, how to be aware and conscious of the energy that you're feeding inside of your consciousness, right? Moving that out is vital. Shifting, like, I don't want to be afraid. Turn off the news, turn off the noise outside of you that's pulling you down.
How do you tell the difference between spiritual alignment and feeding the ego?
So the ego and spirit and your higher self are very different kind of energies. The ego is typically can be heavy, can be negative, can be judgmental, can be comparison, can be fear-based. If it's anything that is not this, like, like, oh, okay, here we go. That all of that is ego-based. And that's your attachment to things, right? The ego is not it. Let me just remind everybody what that is. When we talk about from the spiritual perspective, the higher perspective, the ego is the little self, which is the personality that you assume when you come into this life in a human form. It is the identity that you assume here on this planet. And it's very limited and small and confining. And it's not wrong or bad. Like, people are like, I hate my ego. No, 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 no. It's your personality. It's who you are here in this experience. It's a part of who you are, but it is not who you are. fully by any stretch of the imagination. So it's kind of getting to know it and befriending it and working with it. So, we talked about, and I'm sure I've mentioned this many times on this podcast, the Bhagavad Gita, which is a very beautiful ancient, it means the song of God. And that's what the translation is. And what it is okay. So I believe we've talked about the Bhagavad Gita maybe once or twice here on this podcast. The Bhagavad Gita, it translated means the song of God. And it is a conversation between Krishna, who is the representative of the divine spirit, and Arjuna, who is a character in this great Indian epic called the Mahabharata. An incredible story, an allegory of what our soul's journey goes through. And the Bhagavad Gita is a conversation where Arjuna, who represents there's a whole bunch of things here, but like in this context, we'll say the ego, and Krishna, the highest self, God, having this conversation, and Arjuna says, I don't want to fight. I'm about to go into this battle with my cousins on this epic battle. I don't want to do it. I grew up with these people. I love them. Why do I have to fight for this kingdom? And Krishna says, you have to fight because it's the only way out. And what he's talking about is the inner battle within. You have to fight your ego, to not let the ego be in charge, to say, no, I don't want these bad habits anymore. I don't want these negative thoughts. I don't want to be in this pattern where I keep doing the same thing over and over again. I keep doing the same thing that's hurting me over and over again. And we have to put in the effort. And so the battle is not allowing the ego to win and to take over where we are suffering. That's what causes us the suffering. So the Bhagavad Gita, I highly recommend everybody reading it. There are a million translations out there, but we can put in a couple of ones that I really love in the show notes.
Okay, awesome.
And a couple specific ones. And the Bhagavad Gita is such a beautiful conversation that really it's the divine spirit, God talking to us directly and saying, you can do this. It's what you need to do. Don't wait. If you don't fight, you're stuck in the same patterns in this loop, and you have to get out. You want to get out. Everybody wants to be free of that. Of all of the things, we don't even realize what we have going on inside of us, So I don't know if I answered your question. I don't remember what your question was.
Yeah, no. I was asking you about the difference between being spiritually aligned and in your ego. And that's where you were getting in all to the ego. Absolutely. You mentioned that when you're in the ego, I think this is a good learning moment for me. You were mentioning that when you're in your ego, a way to tell the difference between having main character energy versus being in your ego, you were saying that if you're in your ego, you'll feel heaviness. That you were those are good things as identifiers for us to then check ourselves and be like, wait a minute, this feels a little heavy. Maybe I'm working in my ego. So what would you feel if you were in main character energy? How would you feel?
Good. Yes, you would feel lightness. You would feel focused on the solution. You would feel like you got this. I got this. I can handle this. Whatever this is, I can deal with it. You feel calm, or you feel centered. You feel focused. You're focused. You're like, okay, what do I have to do? How do I move through this? How do I navigate this situation?
Yeah.
It's very engaging, uplifting, and kind of like, okay, there's something I got to take care of. It's weird, but it's almost a little bit like it's energizing, Even the silly thing with my phone. It was like, okay, I got a problem I have to solve. All right, I got to figure it out. No big deal. It's just, we don't take these things seriously in a heavy way because this is a matrix. This is a simulation, And it's all for us. It's all perfectly designed for us. And that is so magical.
Yeah.
Life is magical.
Yeah.
And then, I'm not saying it's all, life is magical even in the heaviest things.
Mm-hmm.
But it's hard to see the magic when you're in the ego and you're in a heavy thing. There's no way you can see it. It's clouded, it's blocked, it's covered. It's like a big black wall comes up and blocks it. You can't.
And last week's episode was Feel to Heal. We talked about that. And so not to mistake what you're saying, like being in the ego and feeling heavy with feeling something to move through it. That's
Right.
not being in the ego. That's what you're saying.
No, look, here's the thing. We have this part of us, and it's all okay. We have to acknowledge it and embrace it. And there are some heavy things that happen in life. Very, very heavy things, tragic things, very traumatic things. And it's not that we breeze through that stuff because, we know about these things or we've been practicing. It's that we have to do our best to work through it. And it makes it more possible when you're living in your higher self. We thrive more and we feel more joy.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a fleeting kind of pleasure. It's really a deep kind of joy that comes from living in alignment with your higher self, that helps you to express your truth, that you are being of service no matter, again, what you do in the world. You're being of service, Susie, as being a mom. I'm being of service by talking with my clients. People are being of service in every single kind of way. You can be in service and not even have a job. It's not about work, right? It's about how do you show up every day with the people around you and for yourself and for others. You can be of service in the smallest ways. And when you are that's the energy of soul embodied, being in the main character of your soul.
Mm-hmm.
You're embodying who you're true. And so that's the energy of the soul embodied main character, is when you are aligned, perhaps with joy, right? And you're looking at it from this higher lens, this bigger thing of like, there's something more going on here than I understand. There's so much more going on here than we could even comprehend.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the beauty of it. Like, okay, I don't need to know everything. What I need to do is trust that I am something more than this physical form, and that I know that based on the experiences I have while I am doing my work, my inner work. Because when you do your inner work, you have these experiences sometimes, aha moments, and everyone has them, whether they're aware of them or not, but the soul is always calling for us to say, okay, look, this is what you're going to do. This is what you're here to do. And often we ignore it because the soul doesn't speak loudly like the ego does. The ego's loud. The attachments are big.
Speak up then. Make it a little easier on us.
Yeah, wouldn't that be nice? But it's subtle. It's not going to push. It's subtle. And sometimes it's not subtle. When we don't get what we're trying to be taught, right? When the energy's coming and we're not paying attention and we're not doing it and we're just like boop 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 doing our own thing and the ego's in charge, it can come like a freight train. To wake up, you have to shift to this. It's quite it can be quite alarming.
Yeah, it's almost like the ego's yelling at us, and with the opposite, it's like looking for the signs, constantly looking for the signs. It reminds me of that funny meme that is on social media, and it's this woman. She's wearing an apron and has a big smile on her face, and she's mixing in a bowl in the kitchen, and she's like, "This is me when I see 11:11 on the microwave," and her whole stove is burning on fire behind her, but she's like, "I saw 11:11 on the microwave." And I was like, people just look for this, everything's fine, because I just saw the sign, It's just, but the ego yet screams at us, and the other we have to search for. It's like this game.
We have to get quiet and still, and think about, like a lake or a body of water. And if you throw pebbles at it and there's all this stuff going on, the water's all over the place. You can't even see you can't see clearly down through the water or see a reflection because there's too much going on, right? Still the lake of your mind, still yourself, still your energy, and then it becomes clear, or the reflection.
Yes.
Because we can see and feel that when it's clear, when it's calm, when it's still.
Yes.
We can see ourselves.
Yes. And I hope that everyone listening is willing to take small steps towards finding your main character energy, and I think that, I know I asked you, like, what would that feel like? And I would say for myself, it makes me feel pride. Like when I know that I do something, like in taking a right step, or if it would be easier to do this, but I do the right thing, I always feel pride. I'm like, I feel proud of myself, which then catapults me to doing it again in another moment, like making the right choice, even if it's the harder choice. You get these little moments where you feel good, that you feel good about yourself. I think for me, main character energy feels like pride in myself.
Just be careful with that. Yeah. That it's like, yes, okay, I did it. Now let's keep going. You don't want to bask in that, and I know you don't, but like,
That's what I'm saying. It catapults me to the next moment of,
yeah.
I felt so good in that last moment that I'm gonna make the right choice again, because that felt really good. And the energy around me then felt good. Yeah.
Yeah. I want to just make a note here and make sure everybody knows, and they probably do, but I just have to say it, right? Our soul is already free, completely free. It is absolutely radiant and perfect and powerful. It's the ego that forgets this. Like the attachment to this life in this form forgets that we are already free. And you are not, by any stretch of the imagination, a victim of your circumstance, whatever it is. You're not a victim.
Totally agree.
Yes. Your divine nature gives you already the right and the responsibility to lead your own life from within. It has nothing, your divinity and your inner light cannot be touched by this world. Cannot be. But your ego can, and your consciousness can be dropped down and shrink if you are living in fear, and it will affect you in a great way. But your soul is completely free. It's like a bird in a cage, right? And the bird has lived in this cage, saved for years, and it's all it knows. It was born in the cage and has been in the cage the whole time.
It makes me sad.
But the door's been open. The door's been open. But it's afraid to go out because it doesn't know out there. So it stays in what they think is safe. But what is it missing?
Everything. Fly, bird, fly.
Right. We know what it's missing, but it doesn't. It's the same with us. We don't realize what we're missing by caging ourselves, our consciousness, in this small form to say, oh, this is it. This is all it is. And I got to get it right. And I got to have a perfect life, because if it's not just so, then I'm not okay. Right. And that's where we suffer. We are already free. The cage is open. We just have to trust that we are taken care of. Surrender is the key, right? Surrender to the flow of life, and what is, and accept what is outside of us, right? In this world right now, most people, I don't know most, I have no idea the numbers of anything right now with people. I believe a lot of people are really struggling.
Most people are really struggling. Yeah.
I feel that a lot of people are very much struggling right now, and I understand, because there's so much uncertainty. Let's be real. There's always uncertainty.
Sure.
This world is uncertain. No matter what's going on, it can even feel like the most peaceful time on the planet, and it's still uncertain. Like anything could happen.
Mm-hmm.
Living in this portable paradise within is it gives you this this energy to know that no matter what is happening outside, your soul can't be touched, that you're always safe and protected from the soul perspective. And then it's like, so this body gets hurt or this body dies. I don't. I'm just going to move on. My gosh, what a freedom.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what a freedom to just live in that space of knowing that you are always safe and protected and that you can't be hurt. Your soul can never be hurt. And so that's the softening and the opening and the connection. And if you are in that light of like, the divine is always with me and is me, and I'm a part of all this beautiful, beautiful tapestry of the universe, what are we worried about?
Yeah.
And even the souls who are in the most dangerous spaces right now on this planet, their soul's perfectly fine too. And they're going through some really difficult lessons, huge lessons right now, that they have said, I need to experience this for some deeper reason. It's not about the ego to figure that out. Don't even try.
Yeah, it is crazy though. You know, you think like, why?
So when we've definitely talked about this here, but when you're in the astral planes, when you're not in a physical form and you're just in your energy body, very often we are in this place where we want to, number one, we want to be of service. Number two, we really want to experience things. Number three, we really want to move out anything that we've been holding on to in our energy body that's not helping us. So we say, okay, I'm going to set a plan. I'm going in. I'm going to go down to earth. I'm going to go into earth and I want to have these experiences. I'm going to do a lot. I want to get rid of this fear and I want to work on this anger and I want to work with this karma with this thing and this. And so some souls get really, really excited and I'm going to go in, I'm going to pick the hardest family and I'm going to work out of this stuff so I can become free because I'm done. I don't want to keep doing this. So I'm going to go in. And we forget. When we come here, we have amnesia, and then we're in this very difficult thing. We're like, what are we doing? This is terrible. I don't want to do this.
Yeah. And yeah, gosh, I got a couple things. Really quick, going back to main character energy and how it feels. All light and wonderful and great. And so say you're living your main character energy life, and I'm going to use, I know you don't like, and I don't like it either, the word failure, but I'm going to use it to make this point. So you're in your main character energy and you fail for whatever reason, whatever's happening in your life. But to remember that failure is actually part of the plot development. So it doesn't mean you're out of your main character energy. Would you agree with that? Right?
100%.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Because, yeah, as we know, there is no failure. It's just experience. And you need to have these certain experiences to get to.
Yeah.
Not even close. I mean, you know, you've seen like when I've seen people talk about different huge, massive, successful people that have, you know, gotten fired from jobs and told they were terrible at this or that, you know, Oprah getting fired and what Michael Jordan being told he's like a terrible basketball player when he was a kid or something like that. You know, all these things that didn't stop them. They could have easily said, oh, not good. I'm a failure. I can't do this. I'm done. And would not have gotten to where they were now or were at that time. They're just opportunities. If you look at everything as an opportunity, right there, it changes it. What's trying to happen here? You know, I keep going back to my phone. It's so funny. Like my phone, okay, there's an opportunity here. Maybe there's something, maybe I need to go to the store, the AT&T store, because there's somebody I need to communicate with. There's something that needs to happen. There's something that I need to do that I don't know and I'm trusting it. So maybe I need to drive 40 minutes to deal with this later, tomorrow, whatever, you know, and there's a reason for it. And I'm trusting that. I'm not saying I don't want to do that and I don't like this and why did that and get into the revolt, right? Of gosh, what a pain. Like, can you imagine like all of that talk? Why? Yeah. I'm still going to have to do it. You know what I mean? It's not going to take away that I have to deal with the situation. So let me just deal with it in light and like, okay, all right, we'll deal with it. My husband and I, Dave and I, have this funny thing that we've done for years now. Like when, say, something spills or breaks, like if a glass breaks or something, falls and breaks, we'll laugh and say, oh, one less thing we have to deal with. We're like, one less thing, like we laugh about it. It's like one less glass I have to clean, like you look at life in this lens that's like, okay, here we go. It's just silliness.
Yeah.
I don't know. Does that sound crazy?
No, I love that because that's where, that is living in your main character energy. That is taking control of your own happiness and leading the story the way you want it to. How would you, if you're watching a movie, would you want to see the person all no, you would be like, oh my gosh, this is so fun to watch. This person is so, joyful, and look at, nothing bothers them. They just go through life making choices, making the right choices, which is going back to like why I was saying that when I make the right choices, I feel proud. It makes me want to make another good choice. Like it feels good. And this is maybe a little deep and whatever.
Go deep.
But you're talking about like, people that live a hard existence and they chose that and then they go back because they had to learn a lesson, and it's just like, what are we all doing up there just floating trying to be perfect and learn all these lessons? Like, why do we have to keep coming back and forth playing this game of human and spiritual ball and energy? And why do we have to be such an enlightened ball of something? What's the purpose of all of it? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, girl. I know exactly what you're saying. I think about this every day. Absolutely. The purpose. Good. Okay, here we go. The purpose is to experience. So we'll call this, I love divine spirit. That's my favorite name for God, divine spirit. Some people love other names, doesn't matter, whatever the name. So divine spirit is pure stillness, light energy, pure essence of bliss. And it wants to experience, and in order for it to experience, it needs to create and manifest. So it is the creator making this incredible universe, creating this incredible universe to experience itself. And we are fractals of that. Yeah. Yeah. And we are fractals of that one energy. We're like little ray. I like to think about sometimes, I love the analogy of a sun because it's an easy concept, right? You see the sun, and the sun is this still energy of flame and power. And then it emanates out light, and rays of light poured all over. We'll just talk about the earth, right? It's pouring all over the earth. We can't live without the sun. We couldn't survive without the sun. And that sun, you see that the rays are all connected to that sun, even though that ray might not feel like, oh, that's way over there and I'm here and I'm this particle, but you're the same as that sun. And then the sun pulls all that ray. We want to go back to our source. We are drawn to go back to our source. And that's why we all inherently want to be happy no matter what. Going down to the basics, the two things that every single soul wants, every person on this planet would say, agree to this. What do you want? I want to be happy. I want to be happy. And I want to have ease and comfort. I want it to be easy, and I want to be happy. Now, we all know inherently that we can be happy, or else we wouldn't think we could.
Right.
Right.
And we've all felt happiness at some point.
Right. We all want to be happy. We all want to be free. We really do. We don't realize what that is or how to get there. But happiness is just this one level of it. That's kind of like, it's almost like fleeting, right? Because we look for happiness outside of us. Well, where can we find happiness? In this or that or this or that. But then we realize it doesn't work. And we keep coming back to see if it'll work until we realize that happiness is not about obtaining anything or gaining anything. It's about realizing who we are. Happiness is inside. And so we're all looking and searching for it outside of ourselves until one day we're like, wait, let me turn this around. So that's flipping the script to go inward, because it's inside where we find it, not outside. So you can have all the best things in the world and all the most money and all the things, and you could probably talk to every celebrity out there and we'll say the same thing: that does not work.
Right.
No matter how many houses you have or blah, 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 it doesn't make you happy by any means. In fact, it could be more of a burden. And that's why the Christ said, it's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than a rich man, because the rich man has all this stuff it wants to take with it. It's not going to be able to. Your accumulation of this external world means nothing. You take nothing with you when you leave this body except your consciousness.
Yes, you take love. Yeah.
Well, love is who you are. You can't get away from that. You actually merge into love in a way in the astral plane that they can't even talk about when they've died and come back. Like, it's a love beyond words. Everyone has said this. It's a love beyond words. And they just want to stay in that love because it's more than love. It's not a love we could ever experience if we don't go inward. We can't experience it outside of ourselves. So yeah, own your light.
Yes. And if you feel like a sidekick, then it's time to heal from that sidekick energy and jump into the main character energy. Learn how to live in that, right? Because it's like this movie we call life is the only movie you'll ever watch where everyone is the main character.
Yeah. That's right. You're 100% right. We are the main character of our movie. And what do you want to see? What do you want to experience? It's a choice. We have free will. We can be miserable as long as we want. It's all, sure, go for it. You can live in fear, go for it. You have free opportunity to do anything you want. Eventually you'll get sick of being in that space. And eventually you'll get so done. Just gonna I don't want to feel this anymore. It's exhausting. It's heavy. It's like you're carrying bags and bags on your back. And it's weighing you down, quite literally. But
yeah,
you'll do that when you're ready. When no one can force that, no one can talk you through it, no one can talk you out of it. It has to come from you. And it's all okay. The best thing is, the greatest news, I think, is we have eternity. So it's not like, okay, time's ticking, you gotta hurry up. You have 1,000,000 trillion lifetimes to live if you want to. It's all okay. And if you want to get out early, you can. You got to put in effort and work. It doesn't come without putting work into it, because you're moving out the blocks. You're releasing all this stuff. Like, nope, I don't want this. I want this. I want light.
Yes.
It's jnana yogi. Like, there are different kinds of yoga. Different yoga means union, to unite your divinity with the great divine spirit. A jnana yogi is the one that is always studying, and we need to be all of these things, by the way. But a jnana is like the wisdom. Like, okay, not this. This isn't right. Nope, not this. It's like, it's called neti, not this, not this. Like, oh, that's not it. That's not it. It's in here. And learning and studying and yourself is very important.
Yeah. That is so. This has been a hype session. I feel hyped. I feel great. I really do. I feel like I'm a little bit floaty right now. And I mean, I would like to personally close out this hype session by saying to everyone listening, congratulations, because you got the lead role. Now live it.
Imagine that you're standing on the center stage in the theater of your life, right? You're in the center stage. The spotlight is not from the world. It's from the sun. It's from the divine. And what role are you here to play? And how can you step into that role more authentically, more gracefully, and with more power today?
Love it.
Here we go.
All right. Thanks, Jenny. I knew you were going to do a home run on this one.
Well, thank you for being you. And I just love you so much. And I'm so, so, so grateful that you are my little sister. And
yay,
I couldn't have had a better a better one. We chose well.
We did choose well. And thank you to everyone listening. We love you. We're grateful for you. And we're excited to continue on. Follow us. We do have a little fun announcement coming out on social media within the next day or so. And that's all I have today.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of the Sister Sessions podcast. If you found inspiration in today's conversation, we'd love it if you shared the episode with your besties, family, or even your favorite neighbors. We'll be back next week with more to share, but until then, remember, meditation is the key to unlocking your inner peace. All is well, friends. See you soon.